The average car buyer loses $31,000 over 6 years. Not on the car, on everything around the car. And it starts 72 hours after you drive off the lot. That car you just bought? Beautiful. The dealership let you drive off so you could fall in love with it for 72 hours? And then they're going to call you back like a toxic ex, and you're going to answer because you already posted a mirror selfie in front of it with the caption, "Blessed." And you can't delete that now. It got too many likes. You drove off the lot yesterday. You felt relief. You felt victory. You shook hands with the closer. You took the keys. You posted the photo. You thought the transaction was over. It's not over. The clock started the second you left the parking lot, 72 hours. That's the window they give themselves to undo everything you negotiated. And that's just phase one. There are 4 phases. Most people never learn about the last one. You sign a contract stating your interest rate, monthly payment, loan term, and down payment. Everything you negotiated. But buried in that contract is a single sentence, a contingency clause. It says the deal is subject to lender approval. You didn't read it, nobody reads it, the closer didn't explain it. That clause is the trapdoor. The financing architect doesn't work for you. Their job is to get you approved at the highest rate the lender will accept. They already know which lender will approve you. They already know what rate you qualify for, but they don't lock that in. They leave it open, they tell you a number that sounds good. They let you drive away. Then they wait. Day 1 passes, you're happy. Day 2 passes, you're forgetting about the paperwork. Then day 3 arrives, your phone rings, the voice is apologetic, there's a problem. The lender didn't approve the rate, the lender came back higher. You need to come back in or they're taking the car back. This is spot delivery financing. Get you emotionally attached, let you take possession, then rip the deal apart and rebuild it in their favor. You already told everyone you bought a car. Now they have leverage. Now you'll sign anything to keep the car. And if you refuse to come back, they report the car as not delivered. Some dealerships file it as a voluntary return, others threaten repossession. You call a lawyer. The lawyer reads the contingency clause. The lawyer tells you the dealership is technically within their rights. You had a conditional contract, the condition wasn't met. You either come back and sign worse terms, or you return the car and start over somewhere else with a hard inquiry already on your credit. Most people come back. The dealership knows this. That's why they built the trapdoor in the first place. Nobody tells you this part. It's not always real. The financing architect sometimes manufactures the problem. They submit your application with errors. They submit it to a lender they know will decline. They create the rejection on purpose. Then they call you back and blame the lender. The other option is worse. The other option costs you more. The other option was the plan all along. Now, they do it digitally. They send you a link. You click it on your phone. You don't read it. Nobody reads documents on a phone. You tap the signature box. You think you just fixed a paperwork error. You just agreed to a completely different deal. Higher rate, longer term, more interest. And you won't realize it until month 6 when your loan balance hasn't moved. But that's not even the most dangerous part of day 1. The most dangerous part happened before you left the building. The congratulations were the weapon. Every dealership has a script for this moment. The closer shakes your hand. They smile, they say congratulations, they hand you the keys with ceremony, they take a photo of you standing next to the car. That photo isn't for you. It's for their social media. It's for their wall of happy buyers. But its real purpose is psychological. The moment that photo exists, you've publicly committed. Your face is attached to this purchase. Walking away now doesn't just mean returning a car. It means admitting the photo was a lie. They walk you to the car, they wave as you drive away. This is not kindness, this is sedation. Think about buying a house. You don't get congratulations until after closing, after the title transfers, after the money moves, after the lawyers sign off. Car dealerships flip this sequence. They congratulate you before anything is finalized. Your brain interprets that handshake as mission accomplished. You stop scanning for threats. You shift from defense mode to celebration mode. And the moment you feel relief, you stop asking questions. Disclosure ends compliance. Questions stop momentum. Truth ends the trap. Once you drive the car off the lot, it's not just a car anymore. It's your car. Possession creates attachment. Attachment creates leverage. Leverage creates profit. The average buyer loses $3,200 in this window. Not from the car, from everything they signed while celebrating. Remote delivery makes it worse. The dealership brings the car to your house. Feels like premium service. It's geographical isolation. At the dealership, you have access to managers and witnesses. At home, you're alone, surrounded by family who just want you to be happy. They weaponize your own living room against you. Here's how you beat phase 1. Don't take delivery the same day you negotiate. Come back tomorrow. If they say the deal expires today, walk away. Read the contingency clause. Ask the closer to show you the sentence that makes the deal conditional. Get it in writing. Call the lender directly before you leave. Get the loan number. Get the confirmation. And when the closer shakes your hand, ask one question. Can anything about this contract change in the next 72 hours? Watch their face. That's all you need. That alone will save you thousands. But phase 1 only costs you $3,000. Phase 2 costs you $12,000. And it happens so slowly, you won't even feel it. If you survive the first 72 hours, congratulations. Now they bleed you for 72 months. The immediate trap ends. The chronic one begins. The service advisor takes over. This is where the dealership stops extracting lump sums and starts installing revenue subscriptions into your life. Month 2 arrives. You get a phone call. They want to schedule your first service appointment. Oil change, tire rotation, multi-point inspection, all complimentary. You say yes because it sounds free. It's not free. The complimentary service is the entry point. The inspection is the sales pitch. You bring the car in, they take your keys, you sit in the waiting room. The waiting room is designed too. There's a television playing the news, there's free coffee, there's Wi-Fi. It feels like they're being generous. They're not. They're buying time. The longer you sit, the more committed you feel to the visit. You drove here, you gave them your keys, you cleared your morning. When the service advisor comes back with a list of problems, you're not going to say no thanks and leave. You're going to listen. You're going to negotiate with yourself. And they know that. 90 minutes later, they come back with a printed report. Red highlights everywhere. Your brake fluid is dirty. Your cabin air filter is clogged. Your tire tread is uneven. Your battery voltage is low. None of this is urgent. None of this is dangerous. All of it is profitable. They recommend $900 in services. You agree to half because you feel pressured. You just spent $450 on problems that didn't exist an hour ago. One buyer tracked every single dealership service visit over 6 years. Every receipt, every line item. The total? $14,300 for a car that needed $2,000 in actual maintenance. $12,000. Gone. One visit at a time. $450 here, $600 there. You never felt robbed because no single visit hurt enough to make you question it. That's not an accident. That's the design. And it gets worse. It's baked into your financing. Remember all those line items you didn't read during the paperwork shuffle? One was a maintenance plan, another was a protection package. They increased your monthly payment by $63. Sounds like nothing. Over 6 years, that's $4,536 for services you didn't ask for. Services that auto-renew. Services that require a certified letter sent by mail to cancel. You'd have to take time off work to write a formal letter to stop paying for something you never agreed to in the first place. They designed it to be just annoying enough that you never bother. And that's just the charges you can see. The ones you can't see are worse. The service advisor tells you independent shops don't have the right equipment. They tell you aftermarket parts will void your warranty. Both of these are lies. Your warranty is protected by federal law. They're betting you won't look it up. Most people don't. That bet pays off about 90% of the time. And now your car is reporting on you. Telematics send your driving data to the manufacturer in real time. The dealership doesn't need to guess when you need service. Your car tells them. They trigger automatic service reminders timed to when you're most likely to say yes. Monday morning, right after payday, right before a long weekend when you're about to drive 8 hours to visit family. The notification hits your phone and says service recommended. It doesn't say optional. It doesn't say minor. It says recommended, which your brain reads as required. You're not dealing with a mechanic anymore. You're dealing with an algorithm that knows your habits, your mileage, your paycheck schedule, and your pattern of saying yes under pressure. 24 visits over 6 years. Average $500 per visit. That's $12,000 from one buyer. Multiply that by 100 buyers per month. $1.2 million a month in service profit. That's not a service department. That's a subscription company wearing a mechanic's uniform. Subscribe if you want to see how deep this goes. Most people stop watching right here. Phase 3 is where they trap you permanently. Phase 4 is where they trap you after you've already escaped. You think you can escape by paying it off. That's exactly what they're counting on. You made your final payment. The loan is satisfied, you feel free. But someone at that dealership has been designing your next purchase since the day you bought this one. Your loan was structured with negative equity from day one. You financed $28,000. The car was worth $23,000. Upside down by $5,000 the moment you signed. You didn't know because the closer focused your attention on one number. Just focus on whether you can afford $399 a month. You said yes. That single word cost you 6 years. Here's the math they hope you never do. $399 a month for 72 months is $28,728. You borrowed $28,000. That means you paid $728 just in interest on the base loan. But you didn't borrow $28,000. You borrowed $28,000 plus the warranties, plus the protection packages, plus the gap insurance they folded in. Your real loan balance was $31,000. You paid $3,000 in interest on products you didn't ask for, and the car was only worth $23,000 when you drove it off the lot. You were paying for $8,000 of air from day one. By year 3, you owed $19,000 on a car worth $14,000. You paid it off in year 6. The car is now worth $4,000. Zero debt, but zero equity. And now watch how they pull you back in. When you try to sell privately, you discover problems. Service history is incomplete. Title has delays. You spend weeks trying. You get lowballed by strangers. Then you go back to the dealership. They knew you would. They offer $3,000 for a $4,000 car. You trade in. Use the $3,000 as a down payment. Finance a new car for $32,000. Payment jumps to $429 a month. You're back in debt. And the new loan has the same negative equity structure. You'll be upside down by month 6. You'll be back at the dealership in year 6. The cycle repeats. And they've already started engineering cycle 3. 73% of buyers who pay off a car loan return to the dealership within 18 months, not because they need a new car, because the dealership made them believe their paid-off car is a liability. 6 months before payoff, you get a mailer. 3 months out, a call. 1 month out, an email about your expiring warranty. They designed the exit ramp to loop right back to the entrance. Subscriptions made it permanent. No down payment, no loan, no ownership. Just a monthly fee. Sounds convenient? It's a leash. Over 3 trade cycles, the dealership extracts $27,000 in profit from one buyer. You're not a customer, you're a pension plan. Here's how you beat phase 3. Refuse to trade in at the dealership. Sell privately. Yes, it takes longer. Yes, it's harder. But the $3,000 they offer you on trade is worth $5,000 to $6,000 private sale. And never finance longer than 60 months. 72-month and 84-month loans are designed so your depreciation outruns your payments. That's how they keep you upside down. That's how the cycle never ends. Now, here's the part I said almost nobody learns about. The trap that activates after you've already won. You did everything right, you paid it off, you kept the car, and they still found a way to pull you back in. You paid it off. The loan is over. You own the car free and clear. But your title isn't free. There's a ghost in the paperwork. When you finance a car, the lender holds the title. When you pay off the loan, they're supposed to release it. 2 to 4 weeks. That's the promise. Reality? Months. Sometimes a year. And the delay is not always accidental. Some states move to digital titles. No physical document. Just a record in a database you can't access. You can't hold it. You can't verify it. You have to trust that the system updated correctly, and when it doesn't, you have no paper trail to dispute it. The process that was supposed to be faster became more opaque. You traded transparency for convenience, the dealership traded it for leverage. While your title is in limbo, you can't sell the car. You can't prove you own it, and the dealership knows it. Watch what happens. You get a call. Great deal on a new model. They want to appraise your trade. You bring the car in, they offer $5,000. 2 weeks later, title still hasn't arrived. You call again, still processing. They mention that if you trade in now, they can handle the title transfer internally. No waiting, no paperwork. The offer is now $4,500. The price dropped because you waited. You're being punished for patience, and it's about to get worse. One buyer waited 19 months. When the title finally arrived, the VIN was wrong. The process started over, they gave up. Traded the car in, the dealership won. And when you do trade in, the dealership doesn't pay you. They credit you. The $3,000 trade value doesn't go into your bank account, it goes toward the down payment on your next car. You never touch the money. The equity you spent 6 years building gets converted into debt on the next vehicle. You didn't escape, you just transferred cells. Here's how you beat phase 4. Call 1 week after your final payment, get a name, get a case number, call every single week until the title is released. Be the person they want to get rid of. File complaints with your state's motor vehicles, ombudsman, and Consumer Protection Bureau, and never trade in without the title in your hand. The moment you trade in without it, you lose every ounce of leverage you spent 6 years building. 4 phases, 72 hours to hook you, 72 months to bleed you, 1 trade cycle to reset the trap, and a phantom lien to catch you even after you've escaped. Let me show you what $31,000 actually looks like. $3,200 in the handshake window, $4,536 in hidden financing add-ons. $12,000 in inflated service over 6 years. $8,000 in negative equity you never knew you were carrying. $3,000 lost on the trade-in lowball. That's $31,736 from 1 car over 1 ownership cycle, and the system is designed to restart the moment you trade in. Every car you've ever bought has locked you into this cycle. You're not a customer, you're inventory. And the dealership is betting you'll move on before you figure that out. The only question left is whether you're going to prove them right. Comment below if they ever called you back after delivery. I want to see how many of you walked into phase 1 without knowing it. Share this with anyone who just bought a car. They're inside the 72-hour window right now. You could save them thousands with 1 click.